Good afternoon, I'm Karen Holmes Ward and welcome to Cityline. Well, to borrow a phrase from a song in the Broadway show Hamilton, who tells your story? This afternoon we're going to meet creative artists, actors, and journalists who can answer that question. We begin with This Ain't Normal, a documentary that spotlights 5 young gang members from Boston neighborhoods and a team of street-side mentors who help transform their lives. Here's a look at one of the scenes from the Emmy-nominated film.
We lost our first friend at 15. He died at 15. 2004, lost another one. 2005, lost another one. 2006, lost 2 more.
And joining us now are the film's director, Rudy Hypolite, and co-producer, Dennis Coach Wilson. Thank you both for joining us. How are you today?
Thank you.
So, you know, we've had you on before. This isn't the first time you worked together on a documentary. You teamed up on another one on Madison Park in 2010. So why did you guys want to come together on another project? Coach?
Rudy and I, we've talked for a while in terms of, you know, the unfortunate, we're losing too many talented and gifted young folks at an alarming rate to gang violence. So Rudy and I wanted to give those young men an opportunity to tell their story, and hopefully with our documentary that we could open eyes and save lives, as I like to say, in terms of educating parents and young folks and police and politicians and anyone who can make a change and help save some of these young men from the unfortunate, you know, problems and trials and tribulations that they go through.
Coach, you know, you made this documentary on a very small budget, filming at night in neighborhoods that, you know, people perceive as not being safe. Why take those risks to bring this story to light?
My whole life has been devoted to helping young people, young men and women, to hopefully be positive and constructive and contributors to society, to our communities, and just be positive individuals. And I just felt, again, that if we can show people that these young men are very talented, very gifted, and have a lot to offer, not just our community, but, you know, the nation and the community and people in a whole. That's what we wanted to do.
Rudy, let me turn to you. The mission behind your art is to spotlight people of color who otherwise might be considered invisible or might be dismissed as dangerous or unworthy. So tell us why it was so important for you to get this film and what impact you hope it has.
Yeah, so it was important to me to tell our stories from Boston neighborhoods like Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, the South End. We tend in mainstream media to see other parts of Boston's other neighborhoods by Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, but we never see our stories. And to me, growing up in Roxbury and being around our folks, seeing the resilience and amazing heroes within our community helping each other, it was important to us with Creative Buzz documentary films to make films about Boston that resonate. We find it resonates across the country.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. You want to tell your stories. You know, I just wonder, with the widespread exposure that this film is getting, do you worry that a movie, a film like This Ain't Normal could be misunderstood by people who live outside the community?
It's been the opposite. Anyone who has seen the film who lives outside the community gets a real understanding. Because right now they have no sense of, you know, these young men, they see negative on the news. They have no sense of the backstories. So because it's authentic, it's in their voice, the young people, anybody who is seeing it says, wow, we understand, how can we help solve this issue? So as a filmmaker, amazing the impact it has had.
Yeah, Rudy, I want to talk a little bit about your background. After moving here from Trinidad, you grew up in a Boston housing project. What was that like for you? And do any of the scenarios reflected in the movie reflect or resemble the experience that you might have had growing up?
Yes, so I grew up in Academy Homes in Roxbury. And so I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood with families and so on. Some of my friends who I played baseball with and so on got involved in gangs. And again, they were always protective of me to make sure I didn't. But in the storylines, as the mother talks about some of the things that at 15 years old, having her first child, talking about the lack of opportunity. For me, I didn't know about going to college, and I applied to one university. These young people don't have those opportunities. They do not have the kind of positive mentorship and some of the other things. So that's things that resonated with me that I saw in terms of my upbringing and the people I grew up with.
Coach, you're a legendary educator in Boston. What impact have you felt after having the film released?
You know, there's so many folks that have approached me, one kind of applauding Rudy and I and our team. We have a great team in terms of, highlighting, like Rudy said, alluded to, these young men that could be, like I said, contributors to society. They have so many gifts, so many things that they could again, provide and be about if given the opportunities. Mental health services, skill training programs, given a job, given some respect. That's all they want. Just give us an opportunity, give us a chance. And I think, that people have said, way to go, way to get get us out there, way to put Boston on the map, way to tell our story, Coach, and that's what it's all about. That's what Rudy and I, when we first started doing documentary, we wanted to provoke thought, promote discussion, open eyes, like I said, get people to really understand that these young men or young ladies need an opportunity. Give them a chance.
You both have used that word opportunity many times. The Street Safe Boston program featured in this film is no longer active, but there are still many opportunities for young people in communities to initiate similar kinds of outreach programs. And why should young people reach out for these programs, and why should we as a community continue to pull them together?
Yeah, so one of the things that the Street Safe program showed is that here's a intervention program that works. There are many things that they did. So there are many organizations in Boston that's doing the work successfully. And that's because they have a true understanding of the population that they're dealing with. And understanding that it's not just about the young person, but it's about the family, providing services across the board. So one of the beautiful things that have happened is folks are really looking to help move public policy around the film after they've seen the film. And just to piggyback on what Coach had said before, what we're finding is the former staff of Street Safe, the social workers, street workers, and everybody in the film, people are saying, wow, they came up to Beverly, the mom, some young ladies, and say, you've really changed things for us by seeing your story that has helped us.
That's great. That's great. Gentlemen, congratulations.
Thank
Film
you.
was nominated for an Emmy Award. You've got
Amazing.
a 2-year deal with Showtime. It's going to be streaming on Showtime.
And the movie channel.
And the movie channel.
It's available on iTunes, Vudu, everything.
All
it's
right.
amazing.
Rudy and Coach,
And
thank
we
you.
have a gift for you.
Oh,
Yes.
you. Thank you
You're
so
an official
much.
member of the Creative Buzz LLC
I love
family.
it. Coach and Rudy, thank you for being
Thank
here.
you for the opportunity.
As we mentioned, everybody, you can now watch This Ain't Normal right now on Showtime and several other platforms, including Apple TV and YouTube. Coming up, a new radio show called The Black News Hour, presented by the Boston Globe, just hit airwaves for the first time last month. We'll have two of the program's hosts joining us right after this.